Hello Factorio people, welcome back to the broadcast from Space Age, a semi-streamlined let's play of Factorio Space Age. I hope you're all doing alright. Today we're continuing to get Nalvis big, make it big. Sorry, I've gone insane. Yeah, if you want to do the odd like, comment, subscribe for me, I've got my cup of tea here if you want to get yourself a cup of tea. We'll jump straight into it, shall we? Or coffee, or whatever you want. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I actually do not care in the slightest. The hexagon base. This was the plan. Big amounts of everything from Nalvis, using all the legendary stuff that we've been spending the last 100 hours of gameplay, it feels like. Sorting out on Vulcanus with the legendary mall and all the legendary farming stuff that we've been doing. So we're going to try and get red automation, logistics, chemical and production science done today, so that we can like test the throughput of labs and science packs in the grid network. You know, we want a decent number. We want a very decent number. This 5,000 effective science per minute number is really not cutting it for somebody who's this far into the game. But when everything's up and running, power is it's not, you know, it's not crazy. But I've been meaning to do this for a little while on my to-do list. A bigger fusion power plant, because the only fusion power plant I've ever designed is also the one that goes on the ships. This 2-reactor thing. We can do better than this. I feel like we could do much better than this. So it's the asteroid ship. If you've never seen it before, goes backwards and forwards. Does all right. So yeah, let's bring some of the fusion stuff from Aquilo that we just stockpile and try and design a big fusion power plant, I suppose. This is a bit better. It's a bit better. I don't know why in my head I thought that like this would be a lot harder than it actually is. I forgot to open my drawer on stream thing. Can I do that? There we go. There we go. So the neighbourhood bonus is 100%, or is it 50%? It's 100%. But because of the weird nature of the shape and the way the inputs and outputs go, it's not extremely easy. So these two have 3 neighbours, but these ones on the corners only have 2 neighbours. That's a really unhelpful diagram, I apologise. And as such, I have calculated that it needs this many fusion generators. There's probably a calculator online you can use. I just did it by hand. Just each fusion reactor can supply 2 fusion generators, and then the neighbourhood bonus is 100%. So you count this as like, you count this one as like 1, 2, 3, and then you count this one as 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. So that should give you 14, which means there's 24? He's an idiot. That should be 28 then, clearly. Well, not that it really matters at the moment, because this is 3 gigawatts of power. This is a huge amount. We'll see. We'll see if once we get to 3 gigawatts, if these are saying that they are, if these are saying they're outputting the most, and these are saying like output full. They'll say, I think, because not all of the hot plasma can be used by the fusion generators. Anyway, this is all right. This is okay. It does the job. Roboports, cryogenic plants, etc. You know, it's fine. It's fine. So we got loads of power now. We don't have to worry about power for a little bit. This is almost emptying out. I want to incorporate the grid section around this soon. Just put this actually in the grid system. I forgot to mention last time when I set the oil up, I did it so quickly, I just forgot. I installed the PUMP mod, which is absolutely brilliant. Let's find somewhere with oil. Let's go all the way down here. So this is a bit like Mining Patch Planner, which is less relevant in Space Age, I feel, like Mining Patch Planner because of reasons. But there is still nothing good enough. There's still nothing good for fluid processing. So if you have pump jacks, you still kind of have to do the horrendous rigmarole of like, oh god, and then work out like where the best place to do pipes are and stuff. The pump mod, PUMP, prevent unwanted manual placement, updated for Space Age. You pick it, you select all the fluid things that you want, then it will just build it for you. So this will pick any pump jack in your current mod pack that you can use and the quality. Same with the pipes, same with the power poles. Choose whether you're going to bury long stretches of pipe or not. Let's say don't bury just because, you know, and you press confirm, boom, it does it. And then you just pick the section of pipe that you feel like is, you know, the best place for the output, depending on where your train is or which direction it's going. It's brilliant. I highly recommend it. It's very, very, very good. So yes, I use that up here, which is why it looks random but tidy, I suppose. Okay, let's continue to build now that we don't have to think about the power supply issues for a little while. Start with automation science, shall we? Seeing as it's very easy. Copper plates and iron gear wheels. Let's turn it on. Let's turn it on. This is the copper and this is the iron. Here we go. So a lot of what's happening with the builds is mostly just testing. Why? Mostly just testing inserter throughput, because sometimes a stack inserter is better, sometimes a bulk inserter is better. What am I doing? How do I usually do this? Yeah, is that right? Half. Yeah, that's fine. Wow, he's terrible. Sometimes a bulk inserter is better, sometimes a stack inserter is better. We don't have high quality stack inserters yet because Gleber, yuck. I love how I've come around. I love how at the beginning of the video, like literally the very first episode of this, I was like, if you don't like Gleber, that's a skill issue. And now 200 hours into the game, I'm like, don't ever send me to Gleber ever again, for God's sake. No, it's fine. And I don't want to upcycle. I could upcycle stack inserters. I did think about doing this, just doing a quick upcycling on Gleber for stack inserters. But the problem is that needs processing units. And because we've got the rocket part delivery ship that delivers processing units, rocket fuel and low density structures to Gleber and Vulcanus, any process we put in that needs processing units from the logistics system is going to empty this unnecessarily, so we might not be able to launch rockets when the time comes. Yeah. And the other thing I realised, the other thing I really wanted to do, and I never got around to it today, was I mentioned the last time we were on Gleber about getting a legendary egg and then trying to keep it going around in the system. For some reason I completely forgot that you can burn eggs in a heating tower, so you don't have to just keep them on a belt and then kill them when they hatch and then just keep cycling them around. You can just do literally one tower that makes eggs, keep feeding it like this, so then this inserter will pull in the eggs, and then any excess eggs just go on and get burned. So there's at least always an egg in the system. The reason we've not done that for the legendary egg is because you would then also need legendary nutrients, which is a real pain. But we could maybe do that, because there is a lot of legendary bioflux here just currently spoiling while we upcycle capture bot rockets for reasons that will elucidate themselves to me at some point in the future. We don't have any legendary chests, so let's just put this in for now, just to keep this all moving. Right, yeah, so as you can see, the belts are not quite full of cogs, iron gear wheels, because this is the other thing. This is the other thing I wanted to talk about. The other thing I've noticed. Now, I'm not a smart man, right? I freely admit that. So I made quite a serious error when it comes to how beacons actually work. You may remember in Factorio 1.1, beacons works on a purely linear scale. 2 beacons was twice as good as 1 beacon, 3 beacons was 3 times as good as 1 beacon. That's not how they work anymore. Now they work on a sliding scale. So the first beacon is very strong, the second beacon does not add twice, the third beacon does not add, you know, so like a legendary beacon 250%, 354%, 433%. So you need 4 beacons to get this effect of 2 legendary beacons. You actually need 4 because the transmission strength decreases. What I didn't realise is that that stacks between module types. So I was like, oh, I want to make these slightly more efficient power-wise. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just add another beacon, right? And then this will be the first efficiency beacon effect being transmitted. So this is 250%. Not true. This is actually cannibalizing the speed of these beacons. Crafting speed 36.1875 over here. Crafting speed 36.1875. Remove the efficiency beacon, crafting speed 40.3125. So all of that effort that we put in to put efficiency modules down just to save on power actually was hindering us more than anything. Especially because I was like doing the build, checking that the numbers were right, checking that the numbers were acceptable to me, and then going, right, and then let's fill the place with efficiency beacons, so now you can see that by taking the efficiency beacons away from this furnace here, this is now actually going fast enough. Because I was super confused, because when I ran the numbers first, I was like, yeah, this is fine, right? Rate calculator, yeah, good, 2 extra gear wheels a second, loads of copper. Put the efficiency modules down and it suddenly stopped working. So a cautionary tale for you there. Cautionary tales for the brave. The first Pure Reason Revolution album. What an album. What an album. Sorry, it's not the banter series. Riichi Mahjong is for banter. This is pure work. So this is good. This is good. And then I realized. And then I thought, well, why am I doing 8? You know, we know the ratio. It's 5. Yeah, it's 5, 6, 5, 12, 7, 7. So let's double the ratio, shall we? So instead of we'll do 12. 6 times 2, fact fans. So we'll do 12 of these, and then that will be our baseline, right? So if we actually do have 12 of these, let me just put it down, even though the belts aren't going to line up in the slightest, but whatever. Just to get the number. this will be... That's 13. No, it is 12. What? Something's gone wrong. I thought it was 9,000 and something. Well, I'll see what I'll see what I've done. I'll see what I've done when we move on. So yeah, so this is the baseline. We're going to double the generic ratio, but then also cover everything in prod modules and speed beacons to try and aim for that 10,000 science per minute of at least the Nalvesian sciences, just for now, just as a starter. I needed a bit of a palate cleanser after that. And so the Spidertrons are filling themselves up with concrete and stone bricks. Because what I thought might be nice was to add some concrete outlines to the grid system, just for aesthetics, you know? Just for aesthetic reasons. So I've added that to the railbook, so this is one with concrete. This also brought up an interesting sort of proof of something that I was trying to prove last time. Why are these rails further apart than these rails? Yes, they do look like they're further apart, and they probably are further apart. But, here we go, fact fans. If we copy and paste this with the tiles underneath it and flip it, you will see that the rail is not going to fit because of the snapping to the grid thing that we established is very difficult for the game to do. But if we do exactly the same, I don't know why I'm also holding the trouble, we only take the tiles and flip it. Oh my god, it's exactly the same. Oh my god, it's exactly the same width. Would you look at that? I was right the whole time. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that, eh? No, that's not fair. That's not fair. So it is merely an optical illusion slash a holdover of the 60-degree angle on a square grid system. These are in fact the same distance apart, as is evidenced by the fact that the concrete tiling is the same everywhere. So yeah, and so then this is just bricks through the middle just to sort of make it look nice, and then yeah, so there we go. So there's some pointless aesthetics. I've also made it snap to the grid at least vertically. Very difficult to get it to do anything horizontally, so you will have to place the first one where you want it. And then you can click and drag up and down, but no, you cannot click and drag left to right just because... Oh god. Oh god, please. Thank you. Redo placement of... What the heck? Undo addition of copper wires times 28. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, yeah, so this is not... I tried to put hazard concrete down as well. It just got a bit busy, you know. It's just... This is nice and simple enough, right? This'll do. This'll do. And then maybe once we start getting really silly with it, I can fill like the entire middle of each grid section with hazard concrete. Hazard concrete, that would look hideous. With refined concrete or something, you know. Yeah, refined concrete maybe. It's not too expensive. You can get that on Vulcanus. Although it can only ship 100 at a time, so it's probably not really worth it. Alright, so yeah, that was my little palette cleanser after I realised I was an idiot with the whole beacons thing. So yes, it's 10. I don't know why I did 12. I don't know why I went through all the effort of saying that I knew the ratio was 5, 6, 5, 12, 7, 7. And then say, oh, 2 times 5 is 12, isn't it? So it's 10. So it's 10. So yeah, so that's what we're aiming for. 161 a second, 9,675 a minute on Nalvis should be more than enough for now. And then we can start trying to get those kind of numbers on the other planets, and then we can, you know, start upscaling. So, automation science, done. Logistics science, the next headache. So we've got to bring the molten iron. This is arguably easier in a way, because you bring the molten iron in, and the molten iron makes your gear wheels and your plates and your transport belts. Which is another reason why I moved the iron to molten iron. I should have just done molten iron from the off. I realised that. I realised it was very silly of me to think that just shipping iron plates around was a good idea. It's clearly not a good idea. So if you bring molten iron and green circuits in, you can sort of finagle everything. So gear wheels and plates need to go into transport belts, the gear wheels and the plates, so the circuits need to go into inserters, and then the belts and the inserters make the logistic science packs. And so this is all above board. It doesn't make enough iron plates, but that's because it makes way too many transport belts. So the ratios don't look right, but that's because half of these iron plates are actually never coming out of the system, because this does not need to work full tilt. I'll do that just for completion's sake. So yeah, what was that? What did I say? 9,675. There we go. So 12 of these, easy. Yeah, a lot of, mostly what the headaches are just legendary beacons. Seems to be legendary beacons. What? Sorry, I've actually lost my mind today. We're moving house, as you may or may not know, and it is happening. It is happening. Completing, sending the monies, which is good, but you know, tiring, stressful. Yes, this is also where I realised that the iron has run out, because this has finally run out. One molten iron train is not really going to be enough. The iron has finally run out. What was I saying? Yes, legendary bulk inserters for input seem to be fine. Stack inserters for output, obviously they are effectively 4 times as fast, because they stack on the 4s. We are basically going to try and just stack everything with stack inserters where relevant. So when I do numbers like this, and the transport belts say 1.3, because I'm using stack inserters, I can divide that number by 4. So as long as this number is never higher than 2, I can use stack inserters on half a belt. It'd be nice if Rate Calculator had like an option for, because the stack thing, it's either like 1 or 4, right? It's not. Well, no, it's not, but like it effectively is, because the techs are just like right next to each other in a perfect order. It's not like Transport Belt Capacity 2 needs all the sciences, or Promethean science, or something like that. So basically, once you get this one, you get this one as well. But yeah, it would be nice maybe if in Rate Calculator there was a setting to have transport belts, you know, just with a little number here that was a stack size 1, 2, 3, or 4. Or maybe more. I don't know if 4 is hard-coded, or whether a mod could make it like 60. That'd be funny. Can you imagine? Anyway, so we do need to sort that iron out, but that's easily done. That's easily done. So then that's logistics science as well. The 2 easiest sciences of the game. He's done it. Obama giving himself a medal. .jpg. Let's tie the iron mines up. We'll do a depot as well. You remember in my Factorio playthrough, I did the depots, but I had them weigh empty. And it wasn't until I'd done about maybe 5 or 6 depots, I was like, maybe they should weight full. Maybe that would make more sense. So this time I'm actually going to probably do that. They are going to weight full. Very easy. just name a stop depot, set the train limit to 1 so that only 1 train goes to each one. Just leave them here waiting, and then as soon as a station becomes available, I've also added an extra one here. This loop thing can fit 3 trains comfortably, 4 trains uncomfortably, so it's kind of a depot in and of itself. Again, I could redesign this so that they sit full, but it's not as relevant, I feel like, for the Molten. I've also... Pumps used to be really, really good, right? They used to be really good. They used to load trains so fast. They don't load trains very fast anymore. This 3,000 a second number, not as high as it used to be. Even a legendary one. I'm sure an old pump was like 12,000 a second. So I've redesigned the loading ever so slightly just to put 2 pumps for each wagon. And then I am going to go through and make the unloading do the same thing. So I'm going to like do this, but so that should help a non-zero amount. So yeah, here's the new iron mine. I'm not going to use legendary big mining drills for something like this. Maybe I should, but I'm still not quite at that stage of everything needs to be legendary. I'm still kind of just picking and choosing based on the needs, you know? Like, so these foundries are not legendary foundries because this is already 11,000 molten iron per second. This is already 7.7 belts of iron, so that's 2 stacked belts of iron ore. So, you know, like, we're already pushing the limit here of what we want to do. Of course, we could maybe just make the molten iron on site. That's probably a long-term goal for us. Just bring the calcite into a mining site and just make so much of it. Just pump it directly into the train from a foundry. But, you know, these are the things. Right, so blue science is next. We got the sulfur, we got the engines. I was gonna make, we got the advanced circuits. I was gonna make the engines on site. It's on site. I was gonna make the engines on site, and then I realised, actually, no, I hate that idea, because I'm also gonna need electric engines at some point for flying robot frames, for yellow science, and just generally, I'm gonna need electric engine units because, you know, the long-term goal is, of course, that this goes in the bin. And this is the base, so we're going to want electric engine units just for mall purposes. So I built the design of this first to match the ratio to get to the 10,000 number. This needs 7,200 advanced circuits a minute, which means this needs to be doubled up because this is basically only just going to supply that, but that's fine. This is not really using that much all in all, you know. It's using a lot of molten copper, but molten copper is not very expensive and hardly using any plastic. It's funny that green belts is now hardly using any of this. Only 1.5 green belts of plastic, it's fine. I mean, how much plastic do we make? Even this little modest thing here makes 8 belts. The numbers, Jason, Mason. Mason? Or Jason? What's that game? Call of Duty, Black Ops. The numbers. So we'll make electric engine units somewhere. It's steel plates, iron gear wheels and pipes, which is all molten iron. So that's easy enough. That's easy enough. We'll do that. And then we'll have blue science sorted. Oh, we've done it already. Look at that. Would you fancy that? Imagine that. 5,805 engines a minute. Just about enough to do this. So that might also need upscaling at some point. But it's easily done. It's easily done. Molten iron comes in, engines come out. You can't explain that. You can't explain that. So we might need to make this a bit bigger later down the line, but it should be okay. It should be okay. What we could probably do is just repurpose this design and make electric engine units directly from that, you know, because the other thing we need to bring in is electronic circuits and lubricant, and we'll just make electric engine units straight away afterwards. So this is just directly feeding this for now, basically. So we'll tidy this up, we'll get this all plugged in. And that's chemical science done. As I say, most of the headache with this, the designs are very simple and easy, as you can see. Most of the headache just comes with trying to just make sure that inserter throughput is working, that things don't have to be very fancy or, you know, so pipes. This doesn't even need to be stack inserters, to be honest with you, but it's probably stack inserters because that's faster to unload the machine. Whereas this definitely does not need to be stack inserters. So yeah, this is 48 pipes a second, which is just about supplied by this. And that's why this is stack inserters, because stack inserters will empty the machine faster. I mean, you could of course side load it, you know, do this, but here basically, I mean, it's fine, it's fine. So once we get legendary stack inserters, then obviously the whole thing becomes moot. And we just do one big massive bulk upgrade planner for every single inserter in our base will become a legendary stack inserter, and then that's the problem solved forever. But we need to maybe plan for that a bit later down the line by getting legendary carbon fibre and legendary jelly and stuff like that. Okay, good. Good progress. Good progress. We got a lot of trains now, and I was still, to my shame, adding trains to the system manually. Going over to the mall, picking up some trains, picking up some fuel. So let's automate the fuel, shall we? Let's automate fuel using the new interrupt system, train interrupt system. Oh my god, what was that? So you can now tell a train, you can tell a train under a specific circumstance to actually go and do a one-off thing, which is of course perfect for refueling. So this is very simple. Bring in light oil and sulfuric acid. The sulfuric acid mines the uranium. The uranium is processed. This makes enough 235, sorry, on its own to feed these four. That doesn't. That's a complete lie. That's a complete lie. Not quite. But it's fine. It's fine. Does it make enough? Yeah, no, it's fine. Use the 235 and some rocket fuel, which we just bring in with the light oil, solid fuel, from light oil, rocket fuel, which is solid fuel and light oil. This is obviously vastly overscaled. Oh, it was right, and then I put this beacon in because this was too slow for me. I just wanted to see it working, right? Like, these are very, very slow by themselves. These are 90 seconds each. So I just wanted to see it working and get in a backlog. Anyway. So make nuclear fuel, basically. Put some in storage, and then I'm going to do it like this, just so I don't have to use a logistics network just to move them from here to here. So then these two stations are merely called nuclear fuel. And so then our trains now have an interrupt, now this megabase refuel. So after a bit of testing, I realised that it makes more sense. So if the fuel is empty, which includes, which is just the slots, right? It's not the bar, it's just the slots. So as soon as all three slots are empty, fuel any equals 0. any fuel. So any just means any of the locomotives on the train. And then you specify the fuel type is 0. But also the cargo inventory has to be empty, right? If you don't have this one, then the train goes straight away. The train interrupts because it has no fuel. The problem you then have is it comes to the fueling station, gets refueled, and then can't go anywhere because the next thing on its list is, oh, go to the engine unit place, go to the crude oil place, but it can't because those stations aren't open because of how we've done our train unloading bays, which are only bring me the thing when I need a train load of the thing. So the interrupt absolutely has to only interrupt the train on its way out of a loading bay. Or an unloading bay, I should say. Only after the train is emptied its cargo does it then check to see if it needs fuel. That should never ever cause a problem because this nuclear fuel is so good that there is absolutely no way that it runs out of fuel between going from the place that it is loading to its unloading bay and then back to the fuel thing. So like if we just send the train over here manually, like is it even using any of this? Like yes, but like come on. So yeah, so all that's going to happen is it's going to use its last little bit of fuel. This is going to tick over, it's going to be emptied out, it's going to have a full bar of fuel. It will sit at the station for as long as it needs to, not using any fuel until the loading bay requires the cargo. It will go to the cargo, then it will go and refuel, and then it will go back. And I believe it looks like a train actually just did that. Oh, it's because I saved the interrupt, and so now all of the interrupts have probably just procced on every single train, and it's now just... Yeah, but that's fine. That's the lesson we've learned. So that's a good way of using the interrupt. That seems to be the way that it is going to work. 2 stations should be more than enough. There should be more than enough nuclear fuel to fuel the trains. What's your beef? Oh yeah, that's right, this train had temporary fuel in it. So don't do that either, don't use temporary fuel, or otherwise it's not going to like that. That's why. Okay, good. And I'm going to repurpose this uranium ore. I'm going to upcycle it, just to get some legendary uranium-238, because we will want... What I want to do is... think about getting legendary captive biter spawners, and may as well do legendary biolabs now that we've got legendary capture bot rockets on Gleba. We can hoard 10 legendary biter eggs very easily, and then once we get some uranium-235, legendary uranium-235, we can make a legendary captive biter spawner, and then that will increase the speed of which we get the eggs. Because we are getting eggs, of course. Eggs are feeding the prod module 3s very nicely. But it's still not, you know... It's been 50 hours of 0.6 a minute. And every now and then there's a spike whereby the ship that was supposed to be bringing extra advanced circuits, processing units and productivity modules was not doing that for some reason. It got stuck somewhere. So eventually we're going to run out of this, you know. Like we are using, currently we're building more than we are making, just because we're, you know, building things at quite a fast click. The automations, no, the chemical science went in without a problem. Just done a sideways one this time, just for fun, you know. This is the benefit of the hex grid. It's very large, very easy to just try different things. I quite like this. Quite like this. So yeah, Good, and we got train fueling done as well. So we are very much on our way to just getting this all working very, very, very nicely. Very nicely. Needed another palette cleanser after this. I'm condensing quite a lot of... Oh yeah, I changed all of the pumps. I said I was going to do that. I'm running through these updates, you know, like, you can probably tell that this is quite a lot of gameplay versus what is actually being shown on stream here, because the design process is time-consuming. Troubleshooting the design process is time-consuming. I'm just telling you, oh, let's put chemical science in. Boom, chemical science. You know? Not showing you the issues with, oh, actually these will need lane balancing, and is this inserter throughput fast enough, and is this balanced okay, etc, etc. It's not that bad. I'm over egging it. I'm over egging it. So I thought we'd go and kill some more biters. I thought you might want to see what 200 destroyer capsules look like. So pointless. There we go. Yeah. It's pretty devastating. The problem with it is the way they sort of slingshot around. It's easier if you sort of like walk them in slowly like this. The problem you have is that if you're like moving around a lot, they go crazy, you know, they slingshot around. So like if you just walk through a big base, they don't get as much done as you would hope. You kind of just have to really slowly walk them in, which is fine as long as you keep moving. The worms are never gonna get you. I tried this with just the shooting ones, whatever the normal turret bots are, thinking that maybe the shooting speed, because the shooting speed on those are much higher than this, and the damage is also comparable, but you go through them so quickly because their survival time is peanuts compared to these guys. These guys have 2-minute robot lifetime, and you get 5 for every capsule, so they're actually pretty efficient. You can take 200 out and get quite a lot done. And I did touch on this last time about how ultimately this is quite tedious, and see, they're starting to perish now. They're starting to perish. But we'll just refresh them all, and then they also work better at the beginning as well when you do something like this and they're all sort of spread out. But they conglomerate as time goes on, as their trajectories sort of converge as they start following you. But you know, I mean, this is fine. We can take 200 destroyer capsules out every now and then and just explore the map, clear some space. But somewhere over here, it starts to get really hairy. Yeah, I think it's over here. It starts to get like, oh dear, that's a lot of biters. And I did talk at one point about setting up an artillery thing that would just clear the space, and I mean, that's fine, but we could maybe do that now with the hex grid. We could expand with artillery on the hex grid, but ultimately, like, who cares? Like, ultimately, this is not where the challenge of the game lies for me. Like, we're basically invincible, right? I don't even have any shields in my armor. If I just added some legendary energy shields, which I could easily do with what we've got on Vulcanus, easily, you know, I would just basically be indestructible. So what is the point? Just bring in some Tesla turrets from Gleber. They don't even need ammo. It sounds like they would need ammo, but they don't for some reason. It's solved. It's solved. And the only reason I've not done anything about it now is because I want to keep doing my I've not used the editor thing. As soon as I put the command in to delete all the biters, then that will no longer work, and I can no longer to prove to you that I've not just sneakily used editor mode to do something, like give myself 1,000 legendary prod modules because I was bored of waiting or something like that. So anyway, right, purple science. Purple science, I did a bit of testing. I'm not going to do it on Now Vis. The sheer number of rails you need to input is beyond ludicrous. So if we keep the ratio, so we'd need 14 of these. Let's put them roughly here just so that they're with the beacons. Even 10 of these is 9 transport belts of rails. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to go to Vulcanus and we're going to make legendary versions of them, and then we only need to make a 6th as many, because as we all know, a legendary science pack has 6 times the science capacity of a regular science pack. So we'll just make 6 times fewer, but with all of the stuff from Vulcanus. Okay, sounds good to me. Something like this, you know? Something like this. So this will make 1,980 per minute, but each one will have a 6 times science capacity. So that is way more, well, not way more. It's 2,000 more than what we're making on Now Vis, but we need to allow for travel time of the rockets and things like that. Currently, all we're really using the legendary stuff for on Vulcanus is the mall, so we do have to bolster a few things. When we first designed this area, we were still only using Mark II modules because we hadn't set up automated supply of that much. So, you know, doing things like actually adding legendary beacons, like even this one for example, I've forgotten that one. You know, legendary prod modules, Mark III into everything rather than just using Mark IIs everywhere where it was necessary, like batteries for example, not that we really care about batteries. So we do need to bolster supply here, which also includes, funnily enough, iron plates. So I had a look at the numbers. Of course, we're getting our legendary iron from the legendary asteroid farming thing. Now this has been doing us very, very, very well. What the hell happened here? This has been doing us very well. But it is only 126 iron plates a minute over the last 50 hours. 200 over the last 10 hours with a bit of a dip here when it must have been full at one point. But it's no longer going to be full. Right, we have to realise that. We can't use molten iron for the intermediates because we need legendary iron sticks. We need legendary steel to make the rails. We need legendary steel to make the electric furnaces. We will also need legendary productivity modules, and in non-trivial quantities. Mostly the rails. Mostly the rails. So we do need to bolster the supply down here a little bit. And this was my LDS shuffle testing, which turned into actually how I'm going to do it, which has turned into, oh, this is nowhere near enough, is it? So I've put stack inserters on outputs where necessary, even though I've not actually changed the input very much, just to sort of see what kind of numbers we're talking about here in terms of what we're missing, what we have, what we don't have. So let me just finish this design off and we'll plug it in and we'll see. Actually, no. What we'll do is we'll make... We know we're going to need more iron. We'll make the iron platform bigger first, and then we'll plug it in. Because we know that the carbon one does very, very well for us. The calcite one is not really relevant currently, so we'll make the iron one large as well. So this is all working fine. It's just on its way to Vulcanus to get a few more legendary bits. But this will be making... So I didn't demolish it or anything. I didn't, like... I kept this bit. So I kept the fuel and I kept the fusion reactors powered up and stuff like that. I just deleted everything around it and then pasted this design down. Because the fusion reactor is, like, in the same place. See? So this is the smaller calcite one. The fusion reactor is in the same place, so, and the engines are in the same place. So you can keep this. You can just literally make it wider on the fly. So even... Oh, it's not doing anything because it doesn't have all the legendary crushers in place yet. Yeah, of course. Okay, so... If we just expand the bus up to, like, say, here, we can kind of see the problems we have already, because this is nowhere near enough legendary stone to make all the rails we need. This stupid LDS shuffle thing here is really needs sorting out, because it was just, oh, just output what you've got and I'll store it in buffer chests or whatever. Oh, nightmare. You know, half the time it's not doing anything, but it needs fixing. It needs fixing! We're using way more iron than we're getting, you know, so we do need to bolster this production. That's engines, don't care. We do need to bolster this production, but we can plug it in first and see exactly how badly things are gonna go. Okay. This is a mess. This is hideous. What the hell was I thinking here? Loaded up this save file in a cold light of day. It was like an 11:30 PM job last night. What on earth was I thinking? I'm gonna go fix it now, in fact. I'm so annoyed. Yeah. Production science. Stone into rails. Iron sticks into rails. Steel into rails. Steel into electric furnaces. Bricks into electric furnaces, which need even more stone. Please. It's giving me a headache just looking at it. Well, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with just this? Huh? You bloody fool. Stone is a problem. Stone is the bottleneck at the moment, because the only way we're getting legendary stone is by using legendary calcite to make legendary copper, just to make regular copper. And we're using these stone. The stone is actually the byproduct, but that's actually what we want. So we can get more stone by speeding this up, for example. Like, we can upgrade this to a legendary foundry, but then that means that we're using more. These aren't fast enough, so we can upgrade these to be legendary. Yes, I know the legendary foundry's in the way. That's kind of the point. Oh, they already are legendary. That's why. So then these are outputting badly, so then I was like, okay, let's just move them. Let's just, like, literally put the copper, like, straight into the lava, shall we? So you can get a decent amount of stone out of this, but it's all very haphazard, right? It's all very... It was all just testing that ended up being the actual solution. So I really want to tidy this up. We needed more power, of course, because of all the extra beacons and modules we've got, but we're using the new design. I don't know if I ever told you that I was bringing the science packs in. I got rid of the train. The rail still exists, just because it's outside the robo network and I can't be bothered. And I also automated the tungsten or legendary tungsten carbide. I mean, this has been running for ages now. It's working at about as fast as it needs to. Because you go into, yeah, so we're making some legendary big mining drills, some legendary foundries, and we're making legendary speed modules on Vulcanus. But yeah, so like, only some of these have run out. I can probably would be sensible to go and change these to legendary ones just so that this lasts as long as possible, but you know, stick it on the later base. So let me, as I say, I was getting to basically my bedtime. I just wanted to get the production science working, even if it wasn't working at full capacity. Because of course we're still just going to bring it into Nauvis like this, so it doesn't need to be 10,000 a minute for now. So I deleted the section here, and then I deleted it again properly. Well, there's a rail signal, it's a piece of grass. We're just going to wait for the regular science packs to finish, and then we'll change this. I'll probably change this as well. If we're going to get other science packs. I mean, this is 7 wide. I could just put it there, actually. I forgot it was 7 wide. I thought it was only 6 wide. I thought it might make more sense to, like, do a decider combinator that outputs a filter for these, so this will say anything less than 300, output that as a signal, and then these will have a filter on them that says you can output these sciences. We need these sciences on the bus, stat! Because currently having them coming down from space and then being moved by a logistics bot from here to then be put on the belt, kinda silly. I mean, what would happen if I did this, actually? Yeah, that's not how that works, because this is enabled. Yeah, this is only enabled when there is less space science on the belt than that number. So that's why this is. So we can change this to actually have a combinator send a signal, and that signal is the filter. And so then if we don't need anything, it is just not sending any signals. So the filter, it's a null filter. It doesn't take anything at all. But you know, as I was saying, we were getting late. I just wanted to see it work, and it does work. It does work. Does it make a lot? It makes enough. They're all legendary as well, so I suppose that's something. So yeah, so the next thing on the to-do list is to make sure Vulcanus is all sorted. Get this LDS shuffle running a bit more. In a bit more of a sensible way, you know, maybe use some space down here and have an actual system for making sure that the steel and the iron the steel and the copper can come out in equal quantities, because oh god, it's not working. It's not working, is it? Also, advanced circuits are not working either. Well, they are working. They're just not working very well because these are not legendary stack inserters. Bulk inserters, sorry. That's a bit better, I suppose. Anyway, we're hitting an hour, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please let me know with a like or a comment, and if you want to see more broadcasts from Space Age, be sure to subscribe. I'm reinvigorated, I have to say, folks. I can't believe that we're almost on like a 200-hour save file here, and I'm still really into it. I'm really enjoying this new Megabase plan over here. Oh yeah, stone and stone bricks. I started to do stone and stone bricks before I realised I can't really make 10,000 production science on Nauvis, can I? That's a bit silly. Alright, thank you so much. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.